actually had guests in the White Mountains of New Hampshire when the temperature was 13 degrees below zero. They checked out and they shut off the heat. So guess what happened? The pipes froze and broke, and it was a big freaking mess all over the place. Hey, on today's Women Creating Wealth, we're going to talk about using quick replies in your Airbnb listing. So first, I want to tell you there are 4 times minimum that you want to send quick replies. You want to send one when a guest first books, 2 nights before they check in, when they've just checked in, so that evening when they first check in, and then send another one just before they're going to check out. So the night before, the evening before that they're going to check out. Okay, so first, what are quick replies? Let's go and find them on Airbnb. I'm going to share my screen with you. And so I'm in my inbox. The first thing you want to do is, obviously you have to switch to hosting, and then you're going to go to your inbox. And when you're there, if you go down to the middle, the inbox is divided like into 3 sections. So that's all the people who have sent you messages, and then a specific message for a guest. So you basically have to have selected a guest. And then, on the right, there's information about that guest. So on the bottom of that screen, when you have that center screen set up, there's a little thing that looks like a cartoon dialog box. You're going to click on that. If you hover over it, it says quick replies. And then you click it and you see the quick replies that you have set up. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's a little thing that says manage. So we're going to manage our quick replies. Now, right after the guest books, I'm going to show you that. So here is a new booking. This is the one that I have for a new booking. And basically it says, sometimes a guest will say stuff to you, hi, I'm coming with, because the Airbnb prompts them to tell you what they're doing. So sometimes you'll get an email that says, I'm coming with my son and his wife and our kids and blah, 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 blah. And they'll tell you, and we're going to climb Mount Washington and we're going to do this stuff. Or sometimes it's just a booking with no information. So you want to have a message that's a little bit generic that could really work kind of regardless of whatever the guest says, because they're going to get this right away when they first book. You always can go back and read their message after in case they had a specific question. But this way, they'll know they were accepted. They'll know everything's good, and they'll have a little bit more information. So mine says super, right? So if whatever they said to me, I'm saying super, looking forward to hosting you. And now I want to set some expectations for them. So I'm telling them, I'll be in touch beforehand. And you can even say, and this, I should say that, I used to say that, I'll be in touch a day or so beforehand with details that you'll need for your stay. And then also you should now be able to see more detailed information on Airbnb. Okay. So that's something you might not realize, but when you're looking as just, when you're just shopping for a room, you don't get to see all the information. But once you've booked the room, then if the guest goes back in and looks at your listing again, they're going to see the address, they're going to see a lot more detailed information. So it's definitely worth letting them know that, because obviously if they don't realize it, they're going to have a bunch of questions for you. Like, every guest is a little different, but some of them are really like, I don't want to say anal, but they're very nervous. Like they might be a little nervous. It might be the first time they've used it. They might be afraid. What if it's a scam? I mean, you never know what's going through people's minds. So just say to them, invite them back to the listing to check out all the more enhanced information that they can now see. So that's my one that I send to people like immediately when they book, because that's the other thing. You can set the timing. When do you want this quick reply to go out? I say, I want it to be triggered by an accepted reservation. So the minute they reserve, boom, they get this email. Okay. Now, the next time that I feel it's very important to send a message is I like to do it not the day before they check in, but the day before they check in. So if they're checking in on a Friday, on Wednesday, maybe like 7 p.m., you're going to send them a little message that says something. Basically, is going to give them the information about how to find the house, like reminding them detailed directions are on Airbnb. Or on Airbnb, you'll see pictures of the door, and you'll see the step-by-step instructions of how to use the push button lock, or whatever it is that you're giving to people on Airbnb to allow them to easily check in. You're just going to remind them of that and redirect them. And also, like, how are they going to get in, right? So, and this is another thing I want to stress, because this is another thing that makes guests feel like nurtured and loved. And like, the more they like you, the better reviews you're going to get, right? So on these messages, you have the option to use some information about them. So I always use their first name. So in this one for the check-in, it says, hi. And then you can put in that short code, they call it. You actually, if you're on the video, you can see that there's a thing here that says short codes, and it gives you all the different information, like the guest first name, the guest last name, check-in date, time, blah, blah, blah. So you could say, I'm excited that you'll soon be arriving at this specific property for this specific day. I don't really think you need to get into that much detail, but those short codes are available for you. So I just say, hi, Joan, I'm so excited that you'll be arriving soon and starting your holiday, or vacation, right? Checking in is easy. And in this case, I say checking in is easy, but finding the house can be challenging. Please see the detailed directions on Airbnb. As a reminder, the address is ... Okay. So that's just a really helpful little thing just to kind of remind them again, go back to Airbnb and find because I had detailed directions on there where there was a picture of the driveway and a picture of the house and the picture of, where you enter from the road and what the door looks like and all these detailed pictures. And I just want to remind them, go back to Airbnb and look at the pictures. So you're not calling me saying, I can't find the house, right? And now I'm going to give them even more information so that they can really have a very simple, stress-free check-in. So I say, after you've arrived at the house and parked in the driveway, come up the ramp. You'll see two doors side by side. You choose the door on the left. The door has an electronic lock. The lock will be set to the last 4 digits of your cell number. This is just a side note. I love to do that because obviously people know if I come back in a week, it's not going to be the same code. So this person has a smart lock and this is a specific code for me. They're not going to forget it. They're not going to have to they're not going to screw it up. They're not going to forget it. You just easily set that up ahead of time. And if you have a smart lock, you can just do it remotely. Easy peasy. So I say the codes are your last 4 digits of your cell. Press the code and you should hear 3 beeps and the handle should now work. The door will stay in lock mode though, unless you unlock it permanently from the inside turn lock. The bed will be made up with clean sheets. That's a question a lot of people have. Do I have to bring my sheets, my towels, my everything? The bed will be made up with clean sheets and there are plenty of clean towels in the bathroom. I also take pictures of the stack of towels and stuff because sometimes that helps people. The house should have everything you need for a nice, relaxing stay, but please let me know if you have a special request. And now is when I remind them of the check-in time. Check-in times anytime after 4 and checkout's 11. If that doesn't work for your schedule, please let me know and I'll try to accommodate you. And then I used to live next door. So I'd say, I'm not sure if I'll be home when you arrive, but I'm always available. So you can even leave that part and say, I'm always available by phone and text. Please don't hesitate to let me know what I can do to make your stay fantastic. And then, sign your name. That is the message that obviously you don't need to copy it word for word, but that's the message that I use for people the day before they check in. Now you want to give them a message. I think it's important to give them a message the evening that they've checked in. So they're there, they might be looking around and, this gives them a really quick, easy opportunity to, just reply back to you if they have a quick question. Because sometimes people might have a question and they might just be like, oh, we're stupid to ask this question. We should just be able to figure it out or something, and then that translates into them not starting off having a great experience and you're getting a crap review, right? So this is just a really quick message that I just send that evening, maybe 7, 8 o'clock at night on the evening that they're supposed to check in. It just says, hi, Joan, just touching base to make sure you got checked in okay and see if you had any questions. That's it. And, a lot of times they'll reply back to you and say, no, everything's wonderful. I love it. Or they might just say, oh yeah, since you asked, blah, blah, blah. Real easy way to just keep that communication going and making them feel like you're with them, like you care about them, whatever, obviously modify these however you want to sound like you. When you name these, give them a name so that you'll easily be able to tell, I don't know if you're on here, if you're looking at the video, first have a little code for the specific property that it is. So this says BH checkout. So that's beach house checkout. I can easily, quickly look at it and say, oh, okay, I know what property I need to use this for because you're going to assign this specific quick reply. You can assign it to specific properties. So you might want to just make it generic, or you might need to say different things for different properties. This is for when you built your empire and you have dozens of Airbnb properties, right? So this is for checkout. Again, use their name. Good morning, Joan. I can't believe your stay is almost over. I hope you had a wonderful, relaxing stay at the beach house. To check out, in this case, there was nothing they had to do. So to check out, you don't have to worry about anything. Leave your trash and recycling in the kitchen bin and your dirty sheets and towels wherever is most convenient for you. when packing up, now do this, remind people, because you're going to find all kinds of goodies all around. I always used to find socks under the bed. I would find charging cables still plugged into the wall. Those are two really popular ones. And then like sometimes icky food in the fridge. So I just say, when packing up, please be sure to check the fridge and under the bed and check the outlets for charges, etc. If we find anything after your stay, we'll let you know. Safe travels home and come back again soon. Very simple. And, and in a lot of cases, it'll be, please take your trash here and do this with it. Please do your recycling. And here's something based on bad experience that I just want to encourage you to put into your checkout message. If you're in an area with a specific climate. So if you're in an area where it's really hot, really cold, I actually had guests in the White Mountains of New Hampshire when the temperature was 13 degrees below zero. They checked out and they shut off the heat. So guess what happened? The pipes froze and broke, and it was a big freaking mess all over the place. Now, to me, okay, maybe you're not from a place, but really it's so flipping cold out. I had a thing on the door so that you couldn't open the door without seeing the instructions that say, please set the heat to low. But, not everybody. So that's the kind of thing, I should have put one on the machine at the thermostat. I should have put one on the door. And I should have also sent them an email that said, please, big letters, do not turn off the heat, or please leave the heat on, or something. I'd rather have them leave it at 75 degrees than flipping shutting it off. But anyway, so stuff like that. I mean, you might want to make sure that they don't turn off the air conditioning, because if you've got somebody checking in, potentially that same afternoon, you don't want it to be 87 degrees in there when the people get there or whatever. So reiterating those kinds of things a couple of times. And I also normally would tell people, remind them what time the checkout is. Checkout time's at 11 o'clock. Please let us know if you need extra time. So this is the norm, but we'll try to accommodate you if we can. So what do you think of quick replies? Back in the day, they didn't have quick replies. And so I had a little Word document that had all that stuff, and I would have to change it. It wasn't the last four digits of your cell phone. I'd actually tell them the last four digits of their cell phone. So I had to edit that and change that and stuff like that. You don't need to do that anymore. You can have all these automated messages scheduled to go out at specific times from Airbnb. So now that you've seen how to create a quick reply, let's go in and see how to apply that specific quick reply to a specific property. Okay, so from quick replies, where we actually set up these replies from manage the quick replies, you then go to where you see the three bars next to the words quick reply. You open that little box and you'll see underneath settings, there's another thing. There's quick replies, and then there's scheduled messages. And that's what we want to click on now, because we want to actually use these specific messages to go out at a specific time. So let's just check on, we'll just grab this one. And if you see here again, you can change the message if you need to. But if you scroll to the bottom, you're going to see where it says scheduling. Choose an action that triggers your messages and set how long before or after the action to send them. So in this case, there aren't a lot of options. There's the booking's been confirmed, which is that first message that we were talking about, hey, super, thanks for booking. And then there's check in and check out. But because you can do this as many days before as you want, or as many days after as you want, it becomes very flexible. So even though there's only 3 actual options, by adding the time sensitivity, that's where you get your flexibility. So at check-in, and I say, all right, this is the check-in message. I want to send it 2 days before check-in at 10 a.m. Now, again, you can send them something a week before check-in, just like a reminder. You might want to do that if, for example, you have a flexible cancellation policy. You might want to remind people a week ahead of time, hey, this is your last chance to cancel. So please, I'd hate for you to be disappointed. If your plans have changed, please let me know as soon as you can, or, something like that, if you want to just be really uber communicative. So that's basically, and this is also where you can delete the template. So you can go into each individual message, and you can give it a schedule. So what you'll see here are your quick replies. And then you'll go in and you'll say, okay, this is which listings that I want to send this for, right? So that's the first thing you see. You've got your message. And then underneath that, it says, what listings do we want to apply this to? If you have multiple listings, you might want to use it for more than one property. Okay. So you go in there, you edit the listings. All your listings come up and you get to say which ones you want to use for that particular, in which ones do you want to use that particular scheduled message. And then below that, you see when do you want it to go out. So what's the event that triggers it? So is it the check-in, the checkout, the confirm reservation, and how long before or after you can do it? Basically, you can do it up to 14 days before or up to 14 days after, and obviously day of, blah, blah, blah. So, and then whatever time, any time of the day or night, you can send this message out. I hope you enjoy these quick replies and scheduled messages. I think they'll make your life as an Airbnb host or hostess easier, and make your communication with your guests really cool and easy and intuitive, and allow you to just like feel much more passive about your income. Obviously, if you're like, oh, I got to send them a message, I got to remember to do this. And that's the way it used to be. This way, lots of great things are happening and you don't even have to think about them. If you have any questions about Airbnb-ing, leave me a note on YouTube or shoot me a message. I'd love to hear from you. I want to help. Here to serve.